I want to respond to a speech that Senator McCain gave this morning to the National Federation of Independent Business, which represents small business across the nation. Because what he's prescribing in his speech is wrong for the country, and the way that he's characterizing what I'm prescribing is just wrong. So let me be clear. My tax reform plan would cut taxes for 95% of workers. I'll repeat that. My tax plan will cut taxes for 95% of workers because we need to put money back into the pockets of struggling middle-class families and close the egregious tax loopholes that have exploded over the last 8 years. My plan eliminates capital gains taxes entirely for the small businesses and startups that are the backbone of our economy, as opposed to John McCain's plan, which would tax these businesses. Now, I've said that John McCain is running to serve out a third Bush term. But the truth is, when it comes to taxes, that's not being fair to George Bush. Senator McCain wants to add $300 billion more in tax breaks and loopholes for big corporations and the wealthiest Americans, and he hasn't even explained how to pay for it. He hasn't come remotely close to figuring out how he would pay for it. In fact, even the Wall Street Journal has pointed out that his proposal to eliminate earmarks won't come close to covering the cost of all the corporate tax cuts that he's proposing. My plan to shore up Social Security in the face of 78 million baby boomers who are about to retire and join the system would keep taxes exactly the same for 97% of all taxpayers. 97% of all taxpayers would see no impact on their payroll tax. On the other hand, like George Bush, John McCain wants to privatize Social Security. He has not told us how he would solve the problems that we have long term in making sure that Social Security is solvent other than privatizing. I think that at a time when costs for everything from gas to groceries are shooting up, we need to raise the minimum wage and index it for inflation so that we honor work and so that working Americans can earn a living. Like George Bush, John McCain says that honoring work and making sure that everyone supports their families is somehow bad for America and bad for business. That is a fundamental disagreement that John McCain and I have. Instead of misleading people about my plans, what Senator McCain should have done is explain to the small business community that he's speaking to how he's going to deal with their number one concern. And that is the issue that brought me here today, the skyrocketing cost of health care. The problem is John McCain doesn't have a comprehensive plan to control rising health care costs. Instead, the centerpiece of his plan is eliminating tax breaks for employers who provide health care. Well, the group he's addressing today did a survey to see what their members thought of this idea, and more than 70% of the people that he's talking to today oppose his proposal. The fact is, Senator McCain's health care plan isn't designed to help small businesses. It's designed to help people who are already healthy and wealthy enough to afford health care at any price. He's offering a tax cut that won't ensure that health care is affordable for hardworking families who need help the most. And his plan could actually put your coverage at risk by undermining the employer-based system that most Americans depend on. Now, Senator McCain says he supports choice, but when your employer drops your coverage because they're no longer getting a tax deduction, and no one else will sell you insurance because the tax break that he's offering doesn't even cover half of the costs of health care for the average family, you will not have a choice. My health care plan isn't about taking away your coverage. It's about giving people more options and thus a real choice. In an Obama administration, I will bring Democrats and Republicans together to finally address this problem. We will take on the big drug companies and insurance companies who've been blocking reform for so long and provide affordable, quality health care for all. We'll cut costs for small businesses and their workers by picking up part of the tab for some of the most expensive illnesses and allow small businesses to purchase insurance in a new low-risk pool. and will cut the cost of a typical family's health care by up to $2,500 per year by investing in prevention and stopping diseases before they get so bad that they're expensive to treat, by investing in a paperless system to cut administrative costs, and by covering every single American and making sure they can take their health care with them if they lose their job. That's the commitment I'm making to you, the American people. And that's the plan I'll sign into law by the end of my first term as President of the United States of America. So you're going to have a clear choice in November. You can choose a plan that could make our healthcare crisis worse, or you can choose to solve our healthcare crisis once and for all. It's time to stop saying that you are on your own to uninsured Americans and struggling families and small businesses. It's time to reclaim the idea that Kate and the nurses and doctors and staff here at Barnes Jewish live out each and every day, that we all have mutual obligations to one another. That's why I'm running for President of the United States.